Good afternoon. What I'm going to talk about is buying your first electric guitar. And I've decided to do this because I've seen all they talk about online is price. It is important, but before you click me off, let me explain to you why it's the least important point. Right, the first thing you want to think about when you're buying a guitar is not what your rock star hero plays or what looks good on TV, it's what you can play. Right, so I'll give you a good example. If you're a small guy or a small woman, then a Gibson Les Paul probably isn't for you. This weighs £12. Now a good example of sensible choice of guitar is Angus Young. People asked him, why do you not play a Les Paul? Why do you play an SG? Well, quite simply because it's half the weight. And he's only a really small guy, and you can hear the sounds he puts out. This is an example. This is an SG, not an example of what he plays, but you get my point. You look at the size of yourself, how big you are, because there's loads of guitarists back in the day who've played Les Pauls and now they've got massive back problems. Now, what you can get is a Les Paul that is weight relieved, which is about £4 lighter. So there are ways round it, but the most important thing is to think about what kind of weight you want to have round your neck for hours on end. Now what am I? I'm 6'1", 52-inch chest, 17 stone. So for me, using a large heavy guitar is not a problem. However, I can feel the weight after playing an SG. Now the next thing you want to look at is how big are your hands. Now I've got small hands, and girls, small hands does not mean small anyway. So if you've got hands that are the size of sausages, massive great hands, you don't want a guitar with a really slim neck. Like this. This has a really slim neck because I've got really small hands. So if you've got hands like King Charles and they're like huge sausages, and you're picking up a guitar with a really slim neck, the chances are you're going to catch the other strings. Because I have small hands, this suits me. So that's very important when you're looking at a guitar. How big are my hands? If you've got massive, great, huge hands, a guitar with a really slim neck, I suggest isn't going to be right for you. You want one with a larger neck. And I have got a guitar with a larger neck here, which is a Gretsch, which is a lot larger than the neck on, say, the 60 slim neck on my Les Paul. However, I can still play it, but I find it a bit of a reach. It's only through experience playing that I've learnt that. So basically, you've got to look at your body shape and think, how much weight can I tolerate on my body and how big are my hands? Now the next thing is, there is a choice of strings. I'm making it simple here. There's 10s or there's 11s. Now basically what that means in simplicity is a set of 10 strings on a guitar, which starts at the bottom, which is the skinny string, which is this one here. They are a thicker set of strings than the 11s, which are slightly narrower. Now it's difficult to know what to advise here because that's something you get from experience. You'd think because I've got small hands that I would prefer 11s, that I prefer 10s. All I will say is that the 10s have a slightly deeper sound than the 11s. The 11s to me feel just too skinny, but that is a personal choice. Now the next thing you're going to say is, well, I want to sound like my hero. Well, it's no good trying to sound like your hero if you've got a guitar that you can't play. But bear this in mind. If you're a beginner, how your hero sounds, the room he's in is going to have different acoustics, he's going to have different pedals, the amp he has is probably got valves that are set up for him. The guitar he has probably got specific pickups, i.e. you can buy a Angus Young SG with the same pickups he uses. These professional guitarists have their guitars tuned for them. Also bear in mind that with all the modern foot pedals available, you can create pretty much any sound. In my opinion, it's not so important the pickups you have, because today you can pretty much create anything. The only thing I would say is if you buy a valve amp, you don't need to have a massive wattage on a valve amp. I use an HT1 Black Star amp, and I'm not sponsored by Black Star in any shape or form, to play a lot of my music, because I can have a well-driven sound and it's not so loud I'm going to piss off the neighbours. Then you come to price. So basically you look at how big a person am I? Am I a petite person? Am I a large person? Do I want to stand with a 12-pound guitar at 6 bags of sugar around my neck, which is a Les Paul solid body, which my custom is? Or would I prefer a lighter guitar, where it's so light? I mean, the lightest I have is this hollow body Telecaster. That is really, it's the lightest of the lot. I mean, God dear, it's just so light. That is the lightest hollow body Telecaster. My heaviest is a Gibson Les Paul Custom. Next is the next size. If you've got fingers like sausages, damn huge hands. I've got friends who've got hands that are twice the size of mine in the gym. Now, a guitar with a slim neck, I suggest wouldn't be any good for them. They want a guitar with a nice wide neck, so it gives them loads of space to move their hands. 10 or 11s, I prefer 10s. It's difficult to advise what to get here, because I've got smaller hands. You'd think I prefer 11s, but I prefer 10s. And as for amplifier, I use a 1 watt Black Star, because that gives me the sound I wish to have. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I hope this little bit of advice has given you some assistance in buying your first electric guitar. Thank you for watching.